Welcome to Jewel's Travel as I share with you another experience that I had. I traveled with 55 people to Detroit on a day trip. The first part of our trek, we sailed on the Detroit Princess, and there's a link in the description of this video that you can click on and watch that particular video. The second part of this day trip was visiting the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. So let's take a brief tour of this experience.
Yeah, the second part of our day trip to Detroit involves going to the African American History Museum. And we did the ship, and I will show you the video, and you will have seen it in the videos. But now we're at the African American Museum. We just came out. It was just like a trip that a group of us had taken, the same group here. We went to Alabama and several other states down south where we got to see detailed history of slavery, enslavement of our people, and what that was about. And, you know, that was kind of interesting, and lynching and all that kind of stuff. You know the history. So coming here was like getting a reminder of that trip because we were there for days. So this was just a few hours. So if you ever get a chance to come to Detroit, you must come to see the African American Museum. Just going to flip the screen here so you can see just a little bit of the outside, because there were major parts of it we couldn't take pictures of. I did take a few, and I'll have them here in this video. But the main part of it, just like some of the stuff we saw when we were down south.
This video was supposed to show you parts of the exterior of the building, but somehow that didn't get recorded, and I just decided to include this anyway. So the experience I talked about in the video was in regards to a bus trip that maybe, I don't know, it was a bus trip, 40, 50 people, that we took to Alabama for a civil rights experience. We toured Selma, Birmingham, Montgomery, the Tuskegee Airmen Museum, Rosa Parks Museum. We walked on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. We saw the Lynching Museum, which really is part of the Legacy Museum. And this whole experience, plus we saw more, was very, very exciting. So this trip to Detroit was a short reminder of that deeper experience we took in the South. This one, however, did give me a more close-up and personal 3D visual of what life was like on the sailing ship for the survivors of enslavement. If you can't do a deep dive in Alabama, go to Detroit and your eyes will be opened on the journey of African Americans from enslavement to freedom.
Yeah.
This here is just a video, a picture of the outside that I was trying to get you to see. Is the backside of the exterior of the museum with this beautiful artwork. And there in the background is part of the museum. That's just the backside of it, not the front side of it, but the backside. It's really interesting how they design the outside. And then this other picture is the rotunda on the inside, which is encircled with a lot of national flags. So this is our tour guide. She talked about how what we see and the reality in people and things might not be the same. We all can have double identities and see people and things incorrectly, or rather incorrectly, simply because of our viewpoint. She gave a short example, but I'm just going to give it to you in one sentence. How you could see a young man who is cold and shivering in a hoodie, zipping up his coat, might be viewed as someone who wants to rob us, a threat. But he's simply cold. But that's not what you see when you see him coming at you, towards you. Therefore, we respond differently than we should. There are like so many pieces to show here of all the parts that we could see in this particular exhibit. It's called Double Identity, and all of these pictures have a double identity. Whether we see them or not is just beyond us, because I know I couldn't see all that. I was amazed at what I just saw. And this picture here looks like a painting. The one that's right next to her here on the right looks like a painting, but it is my favorite, and it's my favorite picture, favorite piece. Let's go with that. I was just taken aback by the way it looked, more than the outdoors and nature. But something drew me into, I don't know, it was something about his hand just pulled me into the picture. I don't know if it's the way it's shaped or way at the time I might have thought it looked a little furry, and I was trying to figure out, why does it look like that? So I looked at the hand so closely that I realized, hold up, this is not a painting. It's made of some sort of yarn. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Some sort of yarn. And I don't know what that's all about because it's almost like needlepoint, but so much better because with needlepoint you can actually see the yarn and the lengths and the you can just see the yarn. Okay, so you can tell it's a needlepoint. This one you think you're looking at a painting until you look really close and they go, wow, this is not a painting. It's definitely a major creative art with yarn. I don't know. That's why it's my favorite because it's so deceptive. Anyway, we get these other two pieces here. One, you can see there's tons of symbolism in the one with the red background, the modern day virtual reality thing on her face, and Time magazine. There's a lot of symbolisms there that's modern day, and it's just full of stuff there. I just happen to like the way it looks and just the symbolism and the colors and that kind of stuff. Not about necessarily what the artist might be trying to say because there's a lot in that picture. And then there's other one next to it. I was just kind of drawn in because I was like, wow, look at the weaponry with all kind of stuff on here. I was like, wow, what is this trying to say? I'm thinking all kind of stuff, war, anything like that. And then I looked down at the title. The title is called The Lone Farmer. Man, then I had to step back and look at that and go, wow. Oh, I see that too. Two totally different perspectives in the same piece. Then there's here on the left, this guy that's laying there on a a pile of flowers, it looks like. The name of this one is called Crucified Crow. And the thing about this picture, you can't tell it in the shot I took here because it's not the actual shot and I can't capture what I saw and what we all saw because of the glare and whatnot in the picture. It's just that in person, it looks so real, like he's hanging there, and his eyes, oh my gosh, they look so real, like they were looking at you. And it didn't look like a painting at all. I had to, and a lot of us did, look really close and got to it and looked eyeball to his eyes because his eyes just kind of stood out over all the rest of the picture. And that's the only reason why you could see the strokes of the painter and go, wow, this is a painting. This is not a photo or what? It's a painting. Looks so, so real. And then the next one over here with the blue background, oh my goodness, it has a lot of symbolism in it too. Can't remember the name of it. It shows a whole lot because you think about these people that used to be in a country where they were either ordinary people and a lot of them were royalty, kings, queens, that kind of stuff, snatched up, enslaved, put on a ship, survived that horrible experience, and came to this other country, totally different culture on this ship, and now have to wear different kind of clothes, have your name changed. So that's a lot in that one, just a lot in that one. That's exactly where I'm going with that. So these are just a few of the pictures I just could show you because there was I took more pictures of different pieces of artwork, but I would bore you just showing through the whole thing. You just need to go to the museum and see the paintings, see the pieces of art for yourself. And this is just only in the section that we were allowed to take pictures of. The pictures I wish I could have taken are the ones I really would have loved to see to show you, but we weren't allowed to do that. And a lot of these museums are like that. You can take pictures in one section, but you can't take pictures in another. It's all about the experience then. It's all about you emotionally going through this. So the part that we couldn't take a picture of, that I'm just going to give you a brief, just one part of that, was how they took us to a section where it felt like you were getting on one of the slave ships. You were on that upper deck, like you've seen on TV, sails and all that kind of stuff, little space where people lived on the top, like the captain, that kind of stuff. So we're on the top deck because you had to get on that in order to get on the ship. And then when we boarded that model slave ship, then we were taken down literally into the dark hole of the ship. Remember, you think about it, there's no electricity during that time. And the stairs, even though these stairs look fabulous because it's built, it was made for a museum to keep people safe. They put handrails on it where in the real ship there wouldn't have been no handrails. It would have just been stairs going down. And no telling what the condition of those stairs would have been, especially after repetitive usage by other bodies going up and down those stairs. Had been worn, dark, slippery. So anyway, ours looked nice and smooth with handrails. So However, it was still dark. We didn't have any lights on or very low lighting for us, so you had to see because we couldn't be in the pitch black darkness just for safety reasons. But you think about it, we were down there in this hold and there were shelves of people lying on their side, practically spooning each other, male, females, children, men, women, and children, practically spooning each other to take up as much space possible for this human cargo. So imagine living in your own feces, your own urine for months, and your other people's feces and urine for months, and barely able to move. Many didn't make it, they died. So I'm still trying to decide what was best, to live or die. And I'm sure they probably went through the same thought, man, I want to die, but then, our body has this will to live, wants to live in spite of whatever trauma's going on in our life. Yet we know just from history that living, when the ones that survived, wasn't that much better. It was better only because they weren't in the hold of a dark hole, slamming around in a feces. Now they're enslaved doing the work required by their slave masters and getting at least to breathe air and whatnot, but still they were enslaved. So I hope you just get an opportunity to experience this museum fully on your own, because it is something that needs to be experienced by all races. It is definitely a must see. So having said that, hope you get to go. And then just to remind you that there's also a description of the Detroit Princess that we did earlier in the link here. So hope you enjoyed this particular video. Hope you get to go to Detroit and get a chance to see both the Detroit Princess and the African American Museum for yourself.